I guess every country has its segment of the population that doesn't travel, doesn't speak any other language but their native language, and who are not very alert to how the politicians can pull the wool over their eyes. But that segment of the population in most countries seems to be more modest in size than the American population. It is amazing to me that we can have not only a criminal, but a stupid criminal for president. I grew up at a time, I was in my 20s, I guess, when Nixon was ousted from the White House, and he famously declared he was not a criminal. And he obviously was, but he wasn't a stupid criminal. And what we're seeing across the board, and it's not just Trump and his administration, it's in the states, it's in Texas, for example, where outright criminals are in power. It's just kind of mind-boggling. You don't actually understand how these people can get into positions of power and then create partnerships with other criminals and do really nefarious things, illegal things, and get away with it. I mean, it's just insane. But the uh, that is our daily reality now. So one of the things that seems to be happening, the veil seems to be dropping so that what is exposed is not just illegal, not just criminal, but evil, downright evil, which I never would have said about Nixon and his gang. Yes, they were doing illegal things for power, but they weren't evil for evil's sake. And some of these people that are suddenly having the light shined on them have been that kind of evil for a very long time, right under the surface. And we live with a system that enables people like that, that actually makes it easy. And we have voters who buy their stories, who buy their game, and they know how to play that game. It's just shocking. I am from an era where, yes, we expected politicians to lie, we expected politicians to cheat, but we didn't really imagine that there would be people that would go to the links that we're seeing now that will do anything. And there's a certain kind of psychology that is something I didn't know anything about really. But there are people who can't feel remorse, can't feel empathy, can't care about other people. They can't. It's not that they don't want to, it's not that they block it off. They are incapable of caring about anyone in the world except themselves. And you can't really believe they could care for themselves in a real way. All they want is money and power, which is not what I would call true care. Well, here we are. And this is the America that we now live in. And it's a shock. It's something that, as it comes out little by little, we realize we've been living in a fantasy land. We've been living in an idea of our country with our sense of patriotism, our sense that, yes, it may have some faults, but it's basically good. It looks to me like the real heartless criminal thugs, and they're not even very bright. They're not smart people. They have managed to commandeer the ship of state. They have managed to just take it over. And yes, there are decades and maybe a couple of centuries of bad people doing bad things. And we all know that our democratic system is flawed and that it is a work in progress. But we always had hope. We always thought we're working on it, we're going to get better. But as the veil starts to lift, we're wondering if we've been fooling ourselves all this time. I really, I'm in my last chapter on this planet, and I'm probably not going to see the ultimate solution. Not a good expression. Um, I'm not going to see this worked out to its best solution, but it seems to me that the first step is going to be lifting the veil. It's going to be going through the shock to seeing what has really been going on, what our real situation is, and how drastic and dire it is. And then we can act. Then we can have some kind of resolve, and the right people will show up and start to do things. But we need to know the truth. We need to know what the real picture is. And as the real picture starts to come into focus, I, for one, am shocked. I, for one, am uncertain of how to deal with it. There are a lot of young people who are jumping into the fray, and they are really trying to stand up for something. The force of the criminal administration, ICE, for example, that attacks people is just out of bounds. It doesn't matter if you're a senator. It doesn't matter if you're just a pedestrian walking down the street. These people are criminals who are well armed and will do anything. And they've evidently been told they can do anything and get away with it. It's really I'm just gobsmacked to see that America the land of the free and the home of the brave has become this chaotic scene. And I think a lot of the problem has been this long period of everything being hidden, and the main populace has had the wool pulled over its eyes, and we had no inkling that it was this extreme. But there it is, and we have allowed the this festering boil to grow and get worse. And now we're faced with an emergency. What we do is going to take some creativity. It's going to take some well-educated people. It's going to take some talented people. Um, and I'm not talking about left or right. I'm just talking about good people. Um, I don't know where the right people are going to come from, but it's an open field right now. The people that are going to be needed are going to have to be brave people, going to have to be ready to die. Um, they're going to try not to. They're going to try to speak truth to power, but it's going to be dangerous. And frankly, I'm worried about our grandchildren. They're too young to even understand this. Um, and it's very difficult when you live under the blackout of information in the United States to really get a picture of what's happening. I just wanted to say that for tonight. This is not what I planned to talk about. It's not what I enjoy talking about, but it's on my mind, and I think it's important, and we all need to grapple with it. All right.